environment. So, first thing first, let's go ahead and get into this. Go ahead and get into the energies right now. So, when thinking about esoteric seed planting, first we got to understand what is a seed, what is a vision, what is an idea, what is a thought form. So, understanding that we're experiencing this carnation, and you may be in a human body right now, so this means you're going to be more comprehended than spirits that takes the shape and forms of less aware species like animals and bugs and things of those natures. Understanding that we all have access to all, we're all in the same existence, but just experiencing different realities. So understanding that we're all in the same existence, we all are connected to spirit, multiple, but we all have our own piece of spirit, our own solo spirit, our own solo space. So we all have a soul. So understanding that we're all connected to spirit and we all have a soul that has a level of awareness that's comprehensible to the mind state when it comes down to how many births, lives, and deaths your spirit has been through, this will be determining the types of information and the types of knowledge and the types of things that you'll be able to gravitate towards. So you'll be able to hold on more and encapsulate more than a spirit or a different species that's in an animal body. You'll be able to understand more, and you'll actually be able to harness in on those energies for a longer period of time. So this is why we can see humans have a longer lifespan than dogs, than squirrels, than birds, because we have evolved to the point where we're able to harness in on a thought form, a mentality longer, because our spirit has been through that expansion and contraction energy. So this means we was doing a lot of organ explosion. So understanding the organ explosion and the organ implosion mechanism, because all these things are just mechanisms at the end of the day. So just understanding the mechanism, and we're all going through this mechanism. So we're like building, this is how we build worlds, this is how we build God. So with us experiencing this platform, coming from that space, being in the atmosphere, coming out of thin air, as within, so without, as above, so below, experience that shape and form, that emanation that we created. We are the creators, coming from our spiritual space, sharing space within space, because it's space between me and it's space between you. So we got to kind of keep that in mind as well too, when understanding the metaphysical, because everything has a space within it. So when everything have a space within it, that means there's a spirit can be born into that space, an awareness can be born into that space. Even if it's like a child, a creative gift and talent, a business, whatever we start to fulfill that space with, when it comes down to whatever we're giving our esoteric currency to, our thoughts and our feelings, our mentality. So we got to kind of keep that in mind as well too, when it comes down to understanding these certain energies and these certain energy spectrums. So you won't just be giving your esoteric currency to things that really don't align with you in your spiritual space, instead of being and what you need to be resonated with and what you need to be fulfilling, that's going to put you in a more comfortable position, or that's going to put you in a position where you're able to reach a position of prosperity. Because some of us be giving our esoteric currency to things that doesn't really matter, to things that's low-hanging fruit. So we gotta kind of understand how to produce more higher hanging fruit. So this means we gotta know how to create better mentalities, so we can be aware of more broader things. We just want to be aware of things that deal with the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. We just want to be aware of things that deal with gossip, things that deal with drama, things that deal with not knowing, because we all know. Ain't nobody have to teach you how to put a heart and a lung together. This is like a natural process that we all have ability to. Ain't nobody have to teach you to, when you came out your mama, to how to suck her titty. You know what I'm saying? It's like a natural thing that we all got going on. Like, these are natural energies, how we're building minds and how we're building worlds. So you know everything. If you're experiencing this reality right now, don't let nobody ever tell you that you don't know nothing, because that's gonna get you lost into whatever they're trying to create to capitalize from to make some form of money. When it comes to how y'all be giving y'all power away, y'all creative gifts and talents, y'all imaginations, y'all visions, y'all esoteric currency, y'all be giving that away to individuals that just want to make money off of it. And then they have y'all believing that something is going to be coming back to come save y'all, or that something is going to help y'all. But at the end of the day, you got to know how to get up and get it yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to get up and make it happen yourself. So God gave you that ability. You know what I'm saying? So if you are a child of God, you have the possibility, the all possibilities within you. So you got to kind of understand that as well too. But some of us be getting lost into expectation that we give our power to the devil, Lucifer, something, too many people. We don't know how to separate from all the things in the world. So we believe in everything within the world. We don't know how to separate from the world. And the next thing you know, we're inside the world trying to uphold a form, trying to uphold a mentality, trying to uphold something that has been created that's low-key draining you, that's low-key keeping you in a space where you're not able to expand your mind and your awareness. So you're stuck into a box. You're stuck into a box. You're stuck into a limitation. And if God is all possibilities, ain't no real God in the universe is going to put you in a space where you're stuck into a limitation. Because any real God or God that's in the universe going to want to see you be able to be free. So we got to kind of understand that as well too. Because getting back to the point I was making earlier, when it comes down to atmosphere to environment, but first we got to kind of cover the ground of understanding creation, mutation, and evolution. So the better that we know how to understand the creation and the mutation and the evolution mechanism, then we'll be able to kind of understand where these energies are coming from. But let's look at it on a micro scale when it comes to us observing the sun and how the sun is playing out when it comes to rain condensing and giving nourishment to the land so that seeds can grow. So we understand that. We can see that playing out in nature. We can just go outside and see how that mechanism works in nature. So if we have a micro piece of that fusion, friction, and pressure that we emanated because we created the sky, we're experiencing our creation, these realms of realities, because we all got a piece of existence, all possibilities that we're able to build up. So we got to make sure that we're building up our mind. We got to make sure that we're building a mind, building a God. Even if we have to come back here multiple lifetimes to experience the same things, as long as you're learning, as long as you're expanding, as long as you're getting out of those low vibrational natures and able to expand your mind and be able to create different fruit to be able to feed God. So this means you having the charismatic gifts and talents. You have the wisdom. You have the knowledge. You are a teacher. You're like a Mount Chesedek. You're able to wake people up and inspire people and motivate people the right way and point people into the right direction instead of you pointing people into the wrong direction, leading people to their demise. So we got to kind of understand that as well too, because the better that you're able to wake people up, because this teamwork makes the dream work. Can't no one individual, because we wouldn't have this realm of reality if it was just like one individual trying to create things and do things and everything was just so objectively. We all got our own subjectivity, and that is what makes the objective, us having our own piece of the puzzle. So the better that we can kind of understand ourselves and understand our own uniqueness and individuality, we'll actually be able to help others and inspire others to be more of themselves. But this is going to be getting us into the mechanism of understanding how to actually interact and how to actually co-create with the universe, because the universe is an adjective. It's something that we're adding on to. It's something that we're all creating together. We all create the universe because we're a piece of all possibilities. So we're all creating these things together. We're all creating this mechanism together. So if there's no new life being created, if there's no new thoughts being created, if there's no new creativity being created, if there's no new innovation being created, then that means we're going to get lost into our own world, and this world is going to become dry. This world is going to become a desert, and then there's going to be no more fruit left because everybody's going to be uninspired. Everybody's going to lack the creativity. Everybody's going to lack the motivation to get up and do something. So there's not going to be no new innovation. There's not going to be no new cultivating energies. There's not going to be no new movies. There's not going to be no new TV shows. There's not going to be nothing to watch. So we got to kind of keep this process going. We got to all kind of keep this process going, because this is the natural energies that we all have ability to. Even when it comes down to, we can kind of see how animals are doing this on their level when it comes to their level of awarenesses. They have their own little mechanism going on. Like when it comes to beavers, building beaver dams for forms of protection and things of those natures. When it comes to bears going into hibernation at certain periods of times of the seasonal transition. So when it comes to a human, we just got to understand that we can't get too lost into this synthetic world that's been put in front of us as a platform for us to get entertained by and get lost into the algorithm and things that deals with instant gratification and things of those natures, because that takes us away from the natural energy that we all should be able to understand when it comes to us going outside and just moosawing and just taking in a breath of fresh air, being able to understand and being able to get out of certain mentalities that had you flunked out, because you may have spent all day dealing with individuals that's been all over the place, or you may have spent all day being on your phone receiving, giving your esoteric currency, consuming and eating bullshit. So we got to kind of understand the natural energies and not forget that part, because some people be forgetting that part and they get so lost into online, they get so lost into the world, the synthetic world that was created online, and forget how to actually go outside and interact with other individuals or communicate or experience. So we don't want to go down a path where everything is so synthetic that people forget how to fuck. You know what I'm saying? People forget how to fuck. So everybody's just online nowadays and trying, you know what I'm saying? So we don't want to get to that program where y'all think y'all got to stick a computer chip in y'all brain. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But we want to understand what's actually going on, because the way that humans think nowadays, y'all may let it go that far, but just understanding the natural energies, understanding the atmosphere to environment, because we all came out of thin air. So the better that you can kind of understand that we all came out of thin air, this can kind of help us understand what we're doing and how these things are condensing. Even when it comes down to understanding your dreams and being able to astral travel and astral project and time travel as well. So when it comes to understanding how to astral travel, well, we're gonna go more deeper into these energies, tapping into the subconscious natures, because this is what we're condensing. We're condensing lights, not Light, light and weight. So something that we can't weigh. So I'm gonna use this allegory for an example. Let's get a pot. Let's get a pot of water. So we got that pot of water and we boil it. So we see the steam, we see how the steam is interacting. So the steam is gonna be going up into the atmosphere and evaporating. And what's gonna happen? It's gonna condense. So that's how we gotta kind of look at it. But we can't really utilize that and put our spirit in that box, because our spirit is just our space. So whatever we fulfill that space with, that's what is gonna be to come. So that's how we're gonna be, you know what I'm saying, giving birth to something new, like birth to a new reality, remember reality. But understanding that how the atmosphere is kind of playing out, we can kind of look at it like this. You have an idea. Let's say that you have an idea. You have a vision. So this vision, this idea that you got in your mind, you can't weigh it. It's in your mind. It's metaphysical. It's not something that you can grab onto. It's not something that you can hold. You have an idea that you're hungry. So what motivated you to have that idea? The spiritual space that you're in. Let's say that you're in a spiritual space of wanting some money. You want to make some money. So you have this idea about multiple ways you can make some money. So what's the next step? You take an action on that idea. So this is going to be the idea, the light, Lite, something that you can't weigh, something that's lighter in weight, condensing, becoming the fleshly fluids, you getting motivated to get up and building that adrenaline to take action on going out and make some money. Simple as that. It's like simple as that. So we can see this playing out into the mech. We can see this playing out on a micro scale as well too. We can see the light, the sun, the emanation, Lite, the clouds, how those things are Lite, lighter than what we can touch that's tangible on the ground, that comes from the condensing of that accumulation that creates the rain that nourishes the land, because earth got derived out of water. Water didn't fall on earth. And understanding that we all created the sun from our own subjective, becoming aware, as within, so without, sharing space within space. So we're like little bubbles, like little fishes in the fishy pond. if you want to look at it like that, we're all like little fishes in the fishy pond when it comes to our mind, the holy, 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 not the holy, 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 but the holy, holy, and we all have a piece of the holy, holy, which is in the holy, where we're able to go outside and experience in our anatomy. So, kind of understanding that mechanism, and the better that we can kind of understand how that mechanism is working and how that mechanism operate, atmosphere to environment, so we create the platform, we create the substance, we create the material to be able to bend in and take different shapes and forms to curve different curvatures, different signatures, different movements, different vibrations. We create the substance and a material that condenses and become the platform, the environment that we're able to experience and utilize as shelter, safety, comfortability, and a firmament. So we create ourselves within our mind, just becoming aware. So all possibilities give us that ability to be able to become aware and create and build a world, an organ for God, so we can experience and be God's children until we get to the spiritual space where we're able to get back to that space where we was kind of more in an atmospherical body, where we didn't have the human features. Before we was even like land or sea creatures, we was able to move waters, we was able to move lands, we was able to move continents. This is even how we built continents. You know what I'm saying? We built this world. Like, we built continents. Like we were in these bodies. Like it wouldn't have no such thing as tidal waves, different continents, Africa being how Africa is, America being how America is, if we wasn't creating these things. So we have that ability to get back to that space because that's us producing a fruit for God. So we just got to be able to, we got to, it's always like an expansion and a contraction energy going on. So we have that ability. So we got to make sure that we're understanding that. So the better that we can kind of understand that and get out of our lower animalistic human natures and thinking that it's the end all and be all what you've been in the human body, because we're going to come back. You're going to come back because we ain't going nowhere until we all get on this one train of thought, line of reasoning of understanding this type of science, so we can start to build that world by raising our comprehension, raising our awareness, and the more and more energy, the more and more substance that we add to that world, that can become an actual reality that we wake up in. Because life is like a dream. You know what I'm saying? Life is like a dream. It'll be like life is like a dream for real. There'll be an actual reality that we wake up in, because we wouldn't have different speciations when it comes to us being able to look at fishes and be like, dang, why is that fish doing that? But if you take a fish out of that water, a fish mind is still gonna be programmed to think naturally that it's still floating with its pack. So if that fish die, that fish gonna go back to that environment. You see what I'm saying? So when we die, you still have the mind of a human. You still have the comprehension and level of awareness as a human. You still gonna come back to this environment. But if you have the level of awareness and comprehension of an atmosphere, guess what type of environment that you're gonna be able to come back to? That type of body, realm, of reality. So we gotta kind of keep that in mind as well. It's like if an animal die, if the animal haven't went through enough experiences, births, lives, and deaths, and it died, it wasn't domesticated. It didn't understand. It didn't understand how a human think. So it was just like a stray animal, like a stray cat. If a stray cat died, and if it didn't go through enough experiences and interactions with a human, it's gonna die. And this level of awareness is only gonna be comprehensible to what a cat know how to do. So it's only gonna go back to those. It's only gonna be able to follow that similar those spirits that was creating that spiritual root race, to kind of get born back through one of those lineages and those bloodlines again. So we just got to kind of understand what's going on. So the better that we can be able to know ourselves, even when it comes down to us coming back as being a human, at least you'll know how to come back and be like, I am, therefore I think. So you won't be getting lost into the I think, therefore I am. So you'll just come back being yourself again. So you'll wake up a little bit more earlier. You'll be more smarter than other individuals at the age of 3. You know what I'm saying? You maybe even you get to like 6 or 7, you're already smarter than the teachers. You know what I'm saying? because the teachers, they not gonna know this type of science, because this isn't made an important song. So the teachers ain't gonna know this type of science. They may just be trying to indoctrinate you. But if you listen to me, if you're a part of the subconscious community and things of those natures, you already on this process of already being the smartest person in your classroom. So you may come back, we may have to come back and look at a teacher like, what you talking about is retarded. Let me take over. You know what I'm saying? Just start, you know what I'm saying, talking like this again. I'm saying, just start kicking some real game again. Wake everybody up at the age of 6 years old. They ain't gonna know what to do. They ain't gonna know how to stop us at that point. We come back. Like, we gonna come back. Like, we was probably the grandparents before. We probably children right now. Our grandparents die. They gonna come back and become our children. So we gotta kind of look at the land like this as well too, because this is how the natives used to look at it. We gotta kind of look at the land like this as well too. So we need to be building these mental blocks, and we gotta make sure that we have a purpose behind whatever we're doing, and not just going about life aimlessly. You know what I'm saying? Just like fucking everybody, having all these kids, not knowing what you're doing, and just doing shit retardedly, because this is gonna put you on the process of coming back, being more lost, being more and more lost, digging a hole for yourself. And then when it comes to a person like me that look just like you may be 2/3 dimensional, you may not be 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional. So it's just like you just putting yourself in the hell, you putting yourself in a routine and a pattern. You not wanting to, you don't want to listen. So we got to kind of understand what we're doing and keep track of these energies. So the better that we can keep track of these energies and know what we're doing, we can come back and start to pick up where we left off. You know what I'm saying? We won't be lost into the world. We'll be like, okay, I remember this. I remember me. I'm me. I am. Therefore, I think. I know this. I know everything. You know what I'm saying? So you won't have to waste so much time, waste so much breath, getting indoctrinated, trying to figure things out, getting lost into the world again, following everybody, doing what everybody else is doing, getting led to hell. So the better that we're able to know ourselves, understanding this carnation, and understanding that we're gonna come back in a different body, until we're able to actually get everybody on this accord, being God's children, so we can be able to create that next platform, so we can be able to experience that glorified body. But this is going to take, you know what I'm saying, individuality, spirituality, shadow work, making sure that you're willing to learn, making sure that you're willing to teach, making sure that you're willing to lead by example. So it's all about leading by example at the end of the day. So the better that you know how to lead by example, the better that you know how to put yourself in a separate spiritual space that's separate from the world, that's outside the box. Even if you see people trying to create magic squares to put you in a magic square, just understand that your spirit is nothing. Your spirit is limitless, and we're gonna come back. So if we do come back into the same family, same bloodline, we'll know where we left off, and we'll be able to pick up from where we left off and keep creating, keep being in ourselves, keep being creative. But we got to keep this process going. You know what I'm saying? We just can't be giving up, getting back lost into the world, getting back lost into the sauce, because that's the reason we all over the places. That's the reason we so scattered right now. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason we so scattered. We're in different geographical locations. Well, other things are into play, but this is how we can migrate spiritually. It's all about spiritual migration, because the better that we know how to understand migration, we all do this. You know what I'm saying? We all spiritually migrate. So this is what we're going to be doing as a spiritual root race. You just got to know how to do it on a more broader level, because we can see birds doing it. They migrate they go when it gets cold, they go to a different area. So we can do this in a spiritual realm. So we got to know how to spiritually migrate. So this is going to be us becoming aware of something different, something else, but understanding that wherever we go to, we're not going to go back to the same similar shapes and forms that we was once comfortable with, because we're going to be looking at those things the same way that we look at fishes, and we're going to have a more expanded comprehension. So this is all about, you know what I'm saying, this is what this video is about: atmosphere, condensing, and becoming the environment. So you just got to keep in mind that you created yourself. You know what I'm saying? We created this environment out of thin air, literally out of thin air, and you got to kind of keep in mind, like, every breath has a spirit in it. Every raindrop has a spirit in it. It's spirits everywhere. So gotta, you know what I'm saying, don't take nothing for granted. Don't take life for granted. Just gotta know how to value these energies, and just know what you're giving your currency to. You gotta make sure that you're giving life to things. Make sure that you're giving life to life instead of giving life to death, because this is the afterlife. If we're being honest, this is the afterlife. This is the death realm. But we just gotta make sure that we're giving life to life. So whatever you give your attention to, whatever you give your focus on, whatever you focus on, whatever you're focusing on, you give life to that. And the emotions, how much you care about it, the emotions that you give to it, that's how you nourish that seed, that vision, that idea, so it can blossom and become fruitful. So what type of ideas are you producing? What type of seeds, what type of fruits are you producing? Are you producing higher hanging fruits, or are you producing low hanging fruits that only suits your self-serving natures? Or are you producing high hanging fruits that can benefit all for one, one for all concept? And that's going to be a fruit that God is going to be eating. You know what I'm saying? So we want to put ourselves in that space where we're producing fruits that God can eat, that God can consume. We got to make sure that we're not just producing fruits, having ideas and visions that only suits our own self-serving needs and self-serving natures, being in a human. Because if we're not expanding, there's going to be no creativity. There's going to be no charismatic gifts. Everybody's going to be lost into their egotistical energies. Everybody's going to be lost into their narcissistic energies. Nobody's going to want to help nobody. Then people are going to get separate. We're going to get more and more and more separate from God, all possibilities, until we evaporate ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to do that. We don't want to evaporate ourselves, spirit evaporation. Then we ain't going to have no world to come back to. We don't want to go down that. We don't want to get that far. We don't have no world to come back to. You know what I'm saying? We lost to our own world, lost to our own dream, get evaporated, screaming, be there for eons. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to be there for eons, having to start all over, from Adam, from atmosphere to Adam again. And you know what I'm saying? It gets deep, and if we don't have nobody there, and we screaming, we don't. You know what I'm saying? We gotta carry out God duty and responsibilities. If you see them, if you see space I'm coming from. Cause you know what I'm saying? We already had spirits that done been there and done that for eons. We don't want to repeat those same cycles. And especially if we get that's too far. That's too far. It's already spirits, it's already people that's in that hell. That's the actual concept of hell. You know what I'm saying? We don't wanna get that far. We wanna stay creative, we wanna stay fruitful. So at the end of the day, just make sure that you're staying fruitful. Don't get too selfish, don't get too lost into your own, light, don't get too blinded by yourself. Don't get too lost into this world, because you know what I'm saying, we all go through ups and downs. Don't get too lost into, you know what I'm saying, expectations and desires. But just stay fruitful, you know what I'm saying? Just be yourself, just be creative. Make sure that you're developing that back pocket energy. Make sure that you're doing things that this is your creativity at the end of the day. We don't want to go down those trains of thoughts, those reasons, the actual concept of hell, you know what I'm saying? That's going too far. But if y'all can listen to these white men, this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna put y'all, they're gonna lead y'all, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna lead y'all there. They already there. It's already spirits in that hell, you know what I'm saying? It's already spirits in there screaming. They screaming. They're like screaming for somebody to come save them. They screaming for somebody to come save them. God ain't got nobody. You know what I'm saying? They you know what I'm saying, got flunked somewhere down the line. So it's actually spirits in that hell right now, like for real. We just got to stay far away from that. You know what I'm saying? We want to keep producing life. That's why we want to produce life. We want to do something creative every day. We want to get up and just like breathe in fresh air. We don't want to get up and have a thought about, damn, why am I breathing? You know what I'm saying? You don't want to put yourself in that space. You want to always have a good mind, a good mentality. You know what I'm saying? You want to get up and be like, yeah, I'm glad I'm up. I'm glad I'm woke. I'm glad I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I'm back. You know, just saying, fulfill yourself. Gotta fulfill yourself at the end of the day. So we can start to, because you it's like you are the atmosphere. Your mind, just look at the atmosphere, your spiritual space, whatever type of spiritual space that you're in, the fleshly fluid, what's going to be motivating you, the astronomy, and the anatomy, the environment. So we can see that macro, micro. So just make sure that you're in a good spiritual space. So make sure that you're around people that can talk life into you, that's speaking about life, that gives you those good vibes. Not just being around people that's always depressed all the time, you know what I'm saying? Because they may be in a negative atmosphere, flying on a low altitude, because we always flying. Like we always flying. You may think that, okay, we just flew. You know what I'm saying? We just flew. But we always flying. But you may be flying around people that may be on a low altitude. So you can kind of understand that when it comes to the physical, with them being on that low altitude, it condensing and becoming their anatomy, the fleshly fluids, what motivates them, their adrenaline, they may always have a attitude. You know what I'm saying? They may always have an attitude or a bad mood or a bad vibe. You know what I'm saying? So you got to kind of keep that in mind as well too. Being around those types of individuals that's always in a low spiritual space because they may not be spiritually comprehended up. So you just got to understand that as well too. When it comes to understanding what's going on, and you will be good. You will know how to fly in different directions, and then you'll know how to fly for yourself and fly for others. So you won't be crashing into other people's asteroids. So we got to kind of keep that in mind as well too when it comes to understanding what's going on. So this will kind of help you know how to relate better, how to have better comprehension, knowing how to read the room, having a good emotional intelligence, knowing what you need to interact, knowing who you need to interact with, and you kind of see you can like if you get real good at it, you'll get to like that pearly space where you can kind of see how the atmosphere is condensing, and kind of see how these things are influencing people, how people are getting influenced. Like it's like real, like you gotta like once you get there, you will really see how like the atmosphere is condensing because you look at each breath like you look at each breath through that mechanism of condensity. But you got to kind of build that mentality first. So let's say that you are already in the spiritual space where you have that type of mentality, and you already kind of like separate from all the bullshit of the world because you're not believing in nothing, but you believe everything. So this can kind of put you in a space like say that you're around a whole bunch of people, and we can kind of understand that being in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, people are only motivated and are only trying to defend their biases, things that they believe in, their biases and things of those natures. And if it comes from a synthetic space, and you're already natural, you're already in tune with the atmosphere, you're already in tune with the environment, you already know how to go outside and align yourself, you already know what type of energies that you're picking up. So it's like your mind is working on a different level. You'll be able to see how these individuals are getting possessed through each second. Also, like through each little breath, like you're like, damn, that person just got possessed. Like, you can just sit back and be like, damn, that person just got possessed. Damn, this person finna get ready to get possessed. Damn, this person's because the Stargate be open. Like this person's Stargate open, they finna get ready to get possessed. Damn, this person finna go down there trying to damn, I can see like you can just see bullshit from a mile away. Like you just like see, you can time travel. You like see a whole bunch of things from a mile away. Like you'll just like be able to see a whole bunch of things from a mile away, and that may be God saving you from being guilty by associations, participating with those people. So all that time that you could have did, giving it to whatever they had their mind on, giving their esoteric currency to, you can do that to something that is your creativity at the end of the day. So you just gotta understand that. So this is how you actually time travel, being able to see the type of spiritual spaces that people be in, knowing how to read the room, being in tune with spirit, being in tune with the atmosphere, knowing your sun sign, your moon sign, your astronomy, and your astrology, and just understanding that mechanism that I broke down earlier, and just going outside and seeing how these things are playing out in nature, and you'll kind of be a little bit more aware, and you'll kind of look at everything like a condensing mechanism, and you'll kind of look at everything like, okay, these are just pieces of me. Also, I'm just looking at pieces of me at the end of the day. I go outside, look at pieces of me because we're all in this world self-reflecting at the end of the day. So it's all like a self-reflection, but it's how you self-reflect. You know what I'm saying? You can self-reflect in a godly way where you're creating a mirror, you're putting a mirror up for others. And if you're already in a healthy spiritual space, that mirror that you're putting up for others is going to be motivating others to better themselves. So any weapon against you shall not prosper. And if somebody becomes a hater and tries to destroy you, they may end up destroying themselves before they even get the possibility to destroy you because you're one of God's children. So we got to kind of keep that in mind as well too when it comes to understanding what's going on. And just understand that people be lost into their own mind because they don't know the actual nature, because these things wasn't taught. We wasn't brought up. We wasn't taught these things in school. We didn't learn these things in school. We learned how to do math, read books, get distracted, look to our devices, you know what I'm saying, in a synthetic world. So we wasn't taught these things. We wasn't trained to think like an atmosphere, how atmosphere thinks. So we just got to understand that when it comes to understanding what's going on in this world. So you won't be so flunked out into this world doing and operating on a synthetic template, thinking that you're doing the right thing because you may be getting it in while the getting is good. But at the end of the day, it got to be in you, not on you. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't in you, then it's synthetic. If it ain't in you, but you justifying it because it's on you, that's synthetic. You got to be in you. And once you get to a spiritual space, you'll understand that everything is in you. So you got access to everything. You just got to know how to go within, because we get so lost into what we have externalized, our creations, what we all are able to be objective of, that we forget ourselves. We forget how to access ourselves. We forget how to value ourselves. We forget how to love ourselves, because we get too lost into what other people are putting up in front of us as a mirror, that we think we should be expressing ourselves in that way, when it comes to what everybody else is giving their attention to: fashion, money, resources, you know what I'm saying, positions and things of those natures, that we forget how to value ourselves, understanding that we have everything, we are everything, we got everything that we need within us. So we just got to understand how to get to those spaces. So the better that we know how to get to those spaces within our mind, that's us astral traveling and astral projecting. And if you're already in a space that's close to the spaces that I'm into, the great spirit, then you can already understand. It's like you really don't really give a fuck about nothing that deals with this world anyway. Because if it ain't come from you, if it ain't got nothing to do with your energy signature that backs and support it, it really ain't got nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? It really don't matter at the end of the day. So this is how you take your power back. This is how we all gotta take our power back. Because you got the sauce, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to get lost into all the sauces, all the Alfredo sauces, all the Chipotle sauces. You got the sauce at the end of the day. So you gotta know how to produce your own sauce. And if it ain't got nothing to deal with, if it ain't got nothing to do with you, what you creatively invested into, what you passionate about, what motivates you, what wakes you up every day to get your blood pumping, to make you feel like, oh, I can achieve this, I can go do this. And if it got something to do with, oh, it's just a contract, it's a contract behind it, it's an agreement behind it, or it's an expectation behind it, it's an indoctrination behind it, because your family members and friends expect you to act out these energies. Your family members and friends expect you to go to college for the so and so years just to get this PhD, just to not be able to get a job at the end of, you know what I'm saying? Man, if it ain't got nothing to do with your creativity, man, it's a waste of time, you know what I'm saying? So we got to get back to those spaces where we're making creativity a little bit more important than what the shadow government got us thinking that it's important. You know what I'm saying? We got to kind of get back to those spaces, because that's what a good fruit's at. That's what a good, you know what I'm saying, squash beans and corns at. That's what a good agriculture is at. So we got to kind of get back to those times. Those was the energies that the natives was in. That's why they was so rich. That was actually rich in resources and rich in spirit. So we want to get back to that space where we're rich in resources and rich in spirit. Not just want to be physically rich, but broken spirit. You physically rich, but your spirit broke. You ain't shit person. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to be around you. Like nobody want to be around you. Like you can't. Nobody want to conversate with you. No, everybody pick up that vibe like damn, you just like a lame. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be that type of individual that everybody pick up that vibe like you just a lame ass person at the end of the day. And we can kind of see that you covering something up with the money. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be in that space. You don't want to be one of those individuals. You want to be a rich spirit first. The first thing first, you want to be a rich spirit. The more that you're a rich spirit, man, you don't care about how much money you got, man. People just gonna like you for you. Like you just being you. Like people gonna compliment you. People gonna give you all the validation you need because you rich in spirit. You're not placing so much importance on the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, the material realm, because you know how to go to that space internally. So we externalize, but at the end of the day, everything is internal. As within, so without. As above, so below. So we just gotta kind of keep that in mind as well too, when it comes to understanding what's really going on in these actual mechanisms in the world, so that we can be able to know what we need to be separating from, know what we need to be associating with, and know what we need to be attaching ourselves to. And the better that we can kind of stay in that space where we're close to Great Spirit, man, God working mysterious ways, like for real. God working mysterious ways. So we never want to get lost into no expectation. You never want to get lost into no need and validation from people. You always want to put yourself in a space where you're just doing things because it fulfills you. At the end of the day, it fulfills your cup. And you always want to know what you're doing, keeping track of what's going on, keeping track of every second, every breath, every minute. You know what I'm saying? Keeping track of your astronomy. Where we're just gonna come back, we're gonna take that shit before we're gonna be one of those beings. So we just, you know what I'm saying? We actually gonna be like an air being. You know what I'm saying? Where we're just gonna be flying around like for real. So that's the type of space that we want to get to. That's the type of realm of reality that we want to create. That's the type of platform that we want to bring here, where we're all experiencing that type of level of awareness by just becoming more self-aware of ourselves, because it's all about self-awareness, because we're all in a realm of duality where we're all self-reflecting. But we can kind of be able to understand how we can kind of like get to a realm where it's like we emanate the atmosphere and then we add on to the universe. It gets real deep because that's like a more expanded version of what we already got going on. It's gonna be similar to this, but with us being in that type of body and us being in that level of awareness, we emanate the atmosphere. So you can just point like how we kind of got this atmosphere. Let's say that a collective of spirits became aware in one position, and that became like a airflow, that became a spectrum, that became an airwave, that became the way the atmosphere, that became the way the atmosphere, the wind blow, that became the way that the sea moved that time. You know what I'm saying? So it's a spirit in there. There's a spirit controlling that. So it really gets that deep because we came out of thin air. It really gets that deep. But we ain't gonna go that far. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna go that far. But these are the types of words that we can create. So the better that we know how to understand that, we'll kind of create a better body that's a little bit more free. That's a little bit more free than this. But we need these types of videos. We need this type of knowledge online. We need this type of need people in these types of mentalities. We need people to get online to do things that do to their creativity instead of doing things that do to their desires. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's everything. You know what I'm saying? That's everything. We're gonna talk about atmosphere to environment. So I always keep in mind that you're coming back. You know what I'm saying? You're going over, you're coming back. You're either gonna come back in a more debilitated body, mentality, more flunked out mind, get lost to the world, or you're gonna come back in a more firm type of mind. You already aware of everything. You know yourself. You pick up from where you left off. You become aware at an early age. Oh, I'm back. I am, therefore I think. Go ahead, get the ball back rolling. Wake more people up. Continue walking your path. Awaken people up. Even if you have to do things solo dolo. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it takes that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta kind of consume a whole bunch of spirits. You know what I'm saying? Gotta kind of like, it's like you eat spirits. We eat spirits and just like we suck y'all in like we just like expand y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we do things. You know what I'm saying? That's how atmospheres and angels do things down here. Like we just like get y'all mind and eat y'all like suck y'all in and just like expand y'all, and then we become one with the atmosphere, and y'all become our children. Those things, y'all get to go fly around into the atmosphere, the geographical location, the environment. Y'all create the environment, the lands, and the fruits. Y'all become the high-hanging fruits when it comes to us creating new trees and things of those nature. So we adding on to the environment, but y'all need an angel. Y'all need an angel to come back to do that. Thank God for your ear. But yeah, we need an angel we all need an angel to come back and do that to us because things get kind of slow. That means like things slowing up. People really ain't doing what they're supposed to do down here. Like people just getting too lost into technology. So we don't want to get too lost into technology because that's gonna throw us off course where we all need to be going. Where we all need to be migrating as a spiritual root race. So we just want to get stuck into one form. Because you know what I'm saying? Man, God ain't got nobody. You know what I'm saying? God ain't got nobody, man. We don't want to get stuck into one form, just thinking that being a human is the end all and be all, because it ain't. It's not. So yeah, it's been Whitlock 360. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Peace.